Hey geeks, welcome to my channel. You're watching Weekly Marvels, where I give a few thoughts about some of the Marvel news that went on in the past week. Some details for the next X-Men movie, X-Men Phoenix Force, have been revealed. Will Sharon Carter return to the MCU? We've got some details for Legion Season 2. And a toy may have spoiled Avengers Infinity War. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it around so others can join in the conversation. We got our first look in some photos from X-Men Phoenix Force. It showed a photo of Jean Grey crying in the rain. It showed a photo of the X-Men at a funeral, but nothing that really stood out. But we also got some details about the plot for X-Men Phoenix Force. Apparently, the X-Men are going to space for some kind of space rescue. Whether they're rescuing NASA astronauts in the 80s, or they're rescuing an actual X-Men, or just another mutant who's for whatever reason trapped in space, they go to rescue whoever it is in space, and a solar flare reveals Jean Grey's hidden powers. Whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, we've yet to see. Probably it'll start off as a bad thing, and then Jean Grey will learn to harness her powers. I'm very excited for this movie, just because it's something new that X-Men hasn't really touched on. They did the Dark Phoenix kind of thing in X-Men 3, where Jean Grey had had a kind of split personality called Phoenix and used her powers for evil, and was very powerful, and it was weird. And from what I understand, completely 100% not what Jean Grey's Phoenix powers actually are, or how they manifest. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out, and to kind of get introduced to this new avenue of powers in X-Men. So seeing how her powers manifest, and if this is going to have other characters with similar Phoenix Force powers, I'm really interested to learn more about the Phoenix Force. I always thought the Phoenix Force was like the Avengers or the X-Force. It was like a team of people who had similar powers, but now I'm wondering if Phoenix Force is actually the name of like her superpowers, if it's like she has the Phoenix Force. I really don't know, so I'm very excited to see what this movie has to offer. In a recent interview, Emily Van Camp, who played Sharon Carter in Captain America Winter Soldier and Civil War, says that Marvel has not yet contacted her on whether or not she'll be returning as Sharon Carter. Which isn't that surprising, because we don't actually know the fate of Captain America after Infinity War. We do know that we're going to be saying goodbye to some characters, whether these characters are killed, or they retire, or they're banished to some alternate Infinity Stone realm. We really don't know what's going to happen to them. Also makes it possible that Captain America could be one of the characters that we say goodbye to. And Sharon Carter is a Captain America character. She was introduced in Captain America Winter Soldier, and we've only seen her otherwise in Captain America Civil War. It's very possible that we could see Sharon Carter in some other avenue aside from a Captain America focused film. Which, thinking about it, I'm actually surprised that we got Martin Freeman's character in Black Panther than Emily Van Camp's Sharon Carter. She's a more established character than Martin Freeman's character. She's a more well-known character than Martin Freeman's character. So I think it would have made a lot more sense if Sharon Carter were, in fact, the CIA agent to be dealing with Wakanda. Don't get me wrong, I'm very excited to have Martin Freeman and Andy Serkis in Black Panther as the Tolkien white guys, but it just seems it would have made more sense to bring in an already well-established character into Black Panther, and actually taking a character from one movie franchise and putting her into another one. But as it stands now, Sharon Carter is a Captain America character, and she's kind of the replacement for Agent Peggy Carter. Which I think she really does well in kind of embodying those same ideals that Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers share, while also being a very modern woman, a very modern CIA agent. She grew up in this timeline, she knows the ins and outs of the world, she knows how the current modern day shadow governments and shadow agencies work. And has a lot to offer Steve Rogers as a man who, however many years he's been in the present timeline, he's still a very 1940s person. Which is something I really admire about him, is that he has those 1940s true American ideals in a modern day where those ideals aren't so ideal anymore. So having her as a kind of foil to a modern day Captain America, I think she really adds a lot to the story. So hopefully Hopefully we won't have to say goodbye to Sharon Carter or Captain America in Infinity War, and we'll actually see both of them in future movies. Recently we got some details for Legion Season 2, and the show's not going to pick up exactly where it left off. Apparently going into Season 2 there's going to be a time jump of about a year. But that time jump won't affect David in whatever kind of spherical, sciencey prison that he's in. That once he, or however he returns, or however he's brought back into the series, that time jump, that year, won't have affected him. The events of the very end of Season 1 of Legion will be just like yesterday for him. And then there's some mentioning and questioning of whether David will be a good guy or a bad guy. So I'm really not sure how that's going to play out. What does really catch my attention, the fact that apparently the Shadow King will be inhabiting his own body. Now, as the Shadow King was kind of like this psychological or mental parasite that kind of jumped from host to host, we've never seen his actual body aside from the really ugly yellow blob thing that kind of haunted David's dreams. But that's apparently not going to be it, or at least that's not entirely going to be it, as there's going to be an actual actor who is going to be playing the Shadow King outside of like it's really complicated, and they didn't give a lot of information, just that there is an actor who will be playing the Shadow King's actual body. Maybe this is just a flashback, I'm not really sure. But I'm kind of worried that because they're going to have an actual Shadow King actor, that we're going to lose Aubrey Plaza and Jermaine Clement as vessels for the Shadow King. Aubrey Plaza was by far one of the best parts of the first season of Legion. She really ran with that kind of evil, sadistic, psychologically terrifying character. She was almost Joker-like. So with her kind of being the representation of the Shadow King, at least the mental representation of the Shadow King when she's in their actual minds, I really don't want to lose her as that kind of character. Just like I don't want to lose Jermaine Clement as Oliver. While he wasn't a huge part of the series, he was only in a few episodes, he was such an entertaining character, and Jermaine Clement is just such a fun presence on screen. So I'm really worried that we're going to lose these two characters. They did say that the Shadow King's not going to completely toss away his current vessels, that being Lenny and Oliver, but I'm worried that we're not going to get as much of them, and I really want to see them back in Legion Season 2 and going forward. Back before Captain America Civil War had premiered, a lot of toys were coming out promoting the movie. One of which was a Lego set that was the airport battle, where where both sides of the Avengers, Team Cap and Team Iron Man, came face to face with each other, and that also included Ant-Man. The Lego set not only included Ant-Man, but it also included the giant form of Ant-Man that we see in the airport battle, thus spoiling that Ant-Man will become the giant Ant-Man in the airport battle, and it was kind of a big spoiler. Now that Avengers Infinity War is getting closer, some new Lego sets have been revealed that possibly offer another spoiler for Avengers Infinity War. In the Lego set they have Spider-Man, and just as we've seen in the Avengers Infinity War trailer, he's in the kind of Iron Man spider suit that Tony Stark offers him at the end of Spider-Man Homecoming. What's in the Lego set that we don't see in the trailer is that on the back of this little Spider-Man Lego are 4 arms coming out the back, thus possibly spoiling that this Iron Man Spider-Man suit is actually the Iron Spider from the comics, which was the Spider-Man suit that Tony Stark made for Peter Parker when he revealed himself to the world as Peter Parker in support of the Superhero Registration Act, and kind of joined Team Iron Man in the Avengers Civil War comic. It's very simple. It's just like this red kind of ironish unitard with like a gold spider and gold spider eyes, and then on the back there are 3 arms that kind of act as spider legs, which I don't know why there were just 3 arms since spiders have 8 legs, and if you count Spider-Man's 2 arms, 2 legs, and then the 3 legs, that's 7 legs. So why not just add the 4th leg to make it an actual like 8-legged, make him like 8-legged Spider-Man? Well, it looks like that might be what they're doing for Avengers Infinity War, is that they're adding 4 legs that come out the back of Spider-Man's Iron Spider suit to act as either walking legs or to attack something or to grab something. Actually very similar to Doc Ock now that I'm thinking about it. So this has me very excited because ever since it was announced that Spider-Man was going to be joining the MCU and joining the Avengers, and his close relationship with Tony Stark, I was really excited on the possibility of having an Iron Spider. Well, it looks like we might be getting our wish. I think this will look so cool, and I'm so excited to see like how having these 4 arms changes Spider-Man's kind of movement and his combat. Already the Spider-Man that we've seen whenever he fights, he's very agile, he's very thin and quick, but kind of adding that Iron Spider-Man suit and 4 extra legs, I'm sure this will probably change, and it'll be just another number of functions that Peter Parker is going to have to learn how to use in his new Spider-Man suit. What do you think of these weekly Marvels, and was there any news that you'd like to talk about? Let me know in the comments and follow me on all the internets. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it around so others can join the conversation. You can check out my written reviews of Marvel TV shows, movies, and video games at treyguillotine.blogspot.com and subscribe to my channel to geek out some more. Thanks for watching and have fun.